Jack discovered a clever way to make money at a temple. The temple he visited was thriving with worshippers. Every day, the donation box brought in around 20,000 baht. That added up to more than 7 billion baht a year. Jack suddenly thought that if he could get his hands on that money, he'd never have to hide from debt collectors again. That night, he eagerly researched everything he could about temples. The next day, he called his friends Kevin and Jenny to meet up. They visited a nearby temple together. Jack explained that this temple alone made over 4 billion baht annually. Since temples were sacred places, government oversight on donations was extremely loose. As long as no large transfers were made, no one would ever notice if money quietly disappeared. He proposed that the three of them should run a temple themselves. That way, they could raise a massive amount of money in a short time. Thailand, being a deeply Buddhist country, was perfect for this plan. Most people donated to temples to find peace of mind and to earn spiritual merit for themselves and their families. Wealthy people were even more superstitious. They traveled from shrine to shrine, praying for business success. Jack and his friends realized there was a huge business opportunity here. 6 months earlier, they had pooled their savings to start a gaming company, but a highly skilled insider had sabotaged them from within. Their company's stock value had crashed by 88%. They lost everything and were now buried in high-interest debt worth millions. The loan sharks gave them just 1 month to pay it back. So the three of them started visiting temples all over the region. They studied how temples operated and made money. The more they learned, the more convinced they became that Jack's idea could work. The only problem was that building a new temple from scratch required a lot of time and even more money. Besides, the National Buddhist Council had strict regulations. Jack said they didn't need to build a new one. Instead, they could take over an existing temple and run it themselves. They'd rebuild its reputation using modern marketing techniques to attract more visitors and donations. But out of the tens of thousands of temples across Thailand, how could they find one that suited their plan? Jack immediately ruled out the big temples in the city. Those were already controlled by powerful management committees that shared all the profits among themselves. Jenny suggested checking the outskirts instead, but they soon realized that temples were packed even in the suburbs. Some neighborhoods had 4 or 5 temples within walking distance. The competition was too fierce, and a few head monks saw right through their intentions, furiously scolding them and kicking them out. After an entire morning of searching, they had found nothing. Then Jenny, who had been quiet the whole time, suddenly told them to stop the car. She had spotted a small temple hidden along the roadside. It was called Ching Ya Temple. Though a bit old and neglected, its buildings were still intact. All it needed was a fresh coat of paint to look new again. The grounds were also surprisingly spacious. They bribed the temple's only volunteer, promising him a share of the future profits. With his help, they met a man named George, who helped them persuade the abbot to hand over management rights. Jenny worked with a contractor to secure the lowest possible renovation costs. Kevin withdrew his savings in advance. Jack reluctantly sold $80,000 worth of his stocks. After pouring in all their remaining money, Ching Ya Temple was soon completely transformed. George then tricked the abbot into signing an agreement using facial recognition to fit modern donation habits. They even set up QR payment codes all around the temple. Once everything was ready, George suggested taking advantage of an upcoming Buddhist holiday. They would use it to promote the new Ching Ya Temple on a large scale. But